Anyway, welcome back to this channel. I'm gonna go straight to the point here. I'm not gonna, try to, make light of the situation because this whole, situation is pretty stupid. Like, I don't think anyone, need to be told that, a cult based on sacrificing each other is not a good thing. Do you guys know how many movies, stories, or video games, mainly horror themes, that depict cultists as a bad thing? Well, anyway, you don't exactly need me to tell you that occultism is bad. So I'm gonna move to to the next point I want to say, which is about Spawn itself. I mean, if you guys ever play Roblox at some point, I'm sure you guys already, being able to tell what is Spawn Point is. The original Spawn Point by Roblox, not the one associated with Forsaken, meant to be, a revival, a spot for, reviving players. If the players died, you will respawn there and then given force field for few seconds before it disappear. It's different from how Forsaken depict the concept of reviving people. Also, I want to point out the way they depict this world of Forsaken. It's similar to Dead by Daylight, with Spectre and the Entity kidnapping people and forcing them to play for eternity. Now, with that logic in mind, every single character in Forsaken, let alone, Survivor, the NPC, or the Killer, they are real people that get dragged here by the Spectre. Which is, very important piece of the lore, because they can't simply just, escape using, the leave button. They are actually trapped here for basically eternity, well, unless, the Spectre dies or something. Which is a great world building for Forsaken, which is why I kinda like the lore, even if the storytelling is pretty fucking terrible. Now, with that fact in mind, we can also basically guess that people can die here. This is basically, a mimicry of the real world, just in Roblox form. I mean, if everyone on Roblox can just simply revive back, what's the point of the cult to begin with? There's no need to be a cult if everyone can basically, just revive back if they're dead. There's no consequences in life then. Now, with that idea of Forsaken world building out of the way, I'm gonna go straight to the point and talk about Two Time. I'm sure you guys already know who's Two Time is. I mean, come on, he is pretty beloved after all. Well, if you don't know about Two Time's lore, I don't blame you. Forsaken is, pretty horrible at storytelling. Oh yeah, fun fact that the wiki said that Two Time already named Two Time even before, entering the cult. Well, anyway, let's get straight into the point and talk about Two Time. Well, Two Time, based on the lore depiction right now, is a cult member with his best friend, Azure. I'm not sure if Two Time and Azure are dating, I kinda forget. But, long story short, is Two Time and Azure basically, stay in that cult. And they basically grow more attachment to the cult and its belief. I forget which one given the the dagger. I think it's Two Times the one that given the dagger by a higher up, I suppose. It's not really mentioned. The bond between Two Time and Azure seemingly extremely close to each other, since they seem to be trusting to each other like an actual best friend or lover. I don't know which one. And the relationship was basically ended with Two Time himself basically backstabbing Azure and sacrificing him to the spawn, since the whole cult itself demanding life for another life, which is kinda stupid. And with that, the bond basically ended with the fact that Two Time basically sacrificed their best friend, and Azure going to be killers that gonna come to Forsaken, which is never, because Spectre is way too busy glazing flowers right now rather than releasing Nolly with the spider side that is basically Two Time lore, well, currently. Well, if you guys play the game for a while, you kinda can tell that Two Time is not normal. With the way his face looked, he looked manic and about to break at any moment. And, the way he always glaze Spawn kinda proved the fact that he is not mentally well. With the fact that he is hated by dusekkar, by the way, the sage of the Robloxia, the magical pumpkin guy, which basically, proves the point the fact that Two Time is not exactly seen favorably by people. Now let's talk about his mechanic. With the fact that his lore is about him backstabbing his friend, it makes sense the fact that he backstab people, which tied to two times lore about him betraying his best friend Azure. I'm sorry for mispronouncing two time, by the way. He's not a he. Two times, pronunciation is they them. I'm sorry for that. And I wasn't doing that, to spite people. I genuinely forget. I'm sorry for that. Anyway, continue. Now let's talk about his mechanic. For for his ability to be active and he gained his second life, he need to put down a marking of the spawn symbol. Well, and then he need to fill up his burn mechanic by two back steps or three front steps. And after that full, if he get killed or it's last man standing, he gonna teleport it to the marking he put on the map and gain extra health, I think, if I remember correctly. And oh yeah, and weakness and speed. Now that is basically the game mechanic for him. He need to backstab, which is a callback to his lore, which he backstab Azure, and that's basically it. Now let's talk about my main point of the video, the mischaracterization of two time in Forsaken. Now before I continue, I need to remind you that this is not Forsaken's fault. I mean, like the Forsaken deaths or something. This is solely because the communities, and it is the community's responsibility. Now let's talk about the characterization of Two Time. I already explained. Two Time is a weirdo. By all means, he is weird and unusual because of his, belief, which put him in danger and got his best friend killed. Now I won't exactly say that Two Time is the full bad guy of his story. Like he's not exactly like someone like Spectre, like someone fully despicable and should be killed. Two Time is someone that delusional because of his circumstances. Because he was raised wrong, he basically involved with a cult and grow up that way. That's why he is basically delusional. Two Time by itself is a perfect depiction on what bad environment affect you as a person. Two Time is basically manipulated, well he's basically delusional, and he basically killed his friend because he was taught this is the right way, this is the cultist way, that this is gonna bring salvation. Now from that guilt he's basically went manic and insane. Well, because he was overridden by guilt and delusion, and was probably clinging to the fact that he is still playing to the spawn because, well, he has no one else to rely to, which is why I kinda like Two Time. Well, I still like 7 and 7 lore way more than Two Time, but I do like Two Time as a character. And with the fact that his reviving mechanic, basically turned his bone inside out, with the symbolism of spawn itself, which is a spectral way of mocking him, which add to the fact that Two Time is a victim, but still someone that need to be held accountable for their action, because well, Two Time still killed their best friend. Two Time lore is basically a good depiction on terrible growing environment and relationship that's bound to fail because the circumstances around them. It's a great way to teach people the fact that, hey, some people, might not grow up the same way as you. They might, be different because, the circumstances. That's why I really like it so much. It teaches people that, people have different experiences. Maybe you, the viewer right now, may, grow up with good parents that love you and, support and teach you, the correct way to live. And there's maybe some of you that, have terrible experiences in life. Maybe you are bullied, or maybe, people around you teach you, something immoral. But everyone treat it as something that moral, so you just fall for it. Which is why I really, again, I must say it, I really like the story of Two Time and Azure. It's a tragic story that was based on misguided trust and misguided belief. Doesn't mean it's always right. Like for the example here, like just because the people of the spawn believe that the second life, the sacrifice, it means something bigger than it actually means, doesn't mean it actually is bigger than what it actually means. It's something unhealthy and should not be followed. It's a good example that, tell people that, hey, you should not do this stuff because it's harmful and dangerous or sinful or anything. Just because many people, around you tell you to do it doesn't mean it's the right thing. Now, the issue with Spawnism is the fact that they dismiss the whole storytelling with two time and azure in favor of the edginess they can make with the story of the both of them. What do I mean by that? They basically dismiss the whole life lesson that can be learned from two time and azure about, terrible relationship in favor of being edgy and cool because kids like edgy things. They see something dark and edgy like cultism, betrayal, black tentaclement as something cool. The whole Spawnism thing basically failed to convey what the story is trying to tell because the group of Spawnism seemingly, like the idea of two time and azure. It's not inherently wrong to like the story of two time and azure and the whole concept of, Spawnism, but it is important that for us to see this as something, as an example of something that should not be done. The same way like you liking a horror movie characters, you're allowed to like, Jason Voorhees, but you should not, follow what he did. Just because he got bullied doesn't mean he should be, go around and killing people just because his mother encouraged it. You're allowed to like Ghostface because, well, he is pretty funny. You should not encourage actual killing. You are allowed to like Michael Myers, but you should not stalk a woman and actually trying to kill her. You're allowed to like Lily and Andy, I'm just kidding. I mean, yeah, that's basically the whole point. This is why I do not encourage Spawnism as an actual thing. If you want to make a fan group about liking two time, you should make it something like the two time fan group or the Tuzur. I don't know what kind of ship name they have. And no, self-harming yourself just because you like a character is not something you should do. It's a serious thing to do, and please do not try to normalize this. It's for your own safety. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry for the audio quality. I mean, I don't have a mic. And anyway, thanks for watching. I see you next time, I suppose. Please, for second community, don't do this shit, bro. It's not healthy, and no one will praise you for this. So please, just don't do this, okay?